welcome to this edition of Let's Go Boating TV. And today we've got two great young men with us here, Captain Griffin Dye, that works for us here at MarineMax in Fort Myers, and Ryan Stoughton, that has done several different tasks and jobs here at MarineMax. And we've had the opportunity to chat before about offshore fishing as well as boat sales. You know, it's all about experiences. And today we're going to have the opportunity to talk about the Lobster trip you guys just did. Captain Griffin, I know you've been delivering boats here for about a year and a half now and starting to get into some of the bigger boats. 2 weeks ago, you went over to the other coast and brought a big Azimut over?
Yes, sir. I went and picked up a 62 Azimut, one of the brand new models for this year. Currently, there are two in the United States, and we have the privilege of having both on property. I made the run from Pompano down to Marathon, Florida, and then the following day from Marathon back up to Fort Myers, where we're housing it here, and anticipating a great delivery here in about 2 weeks on it.
Fantastic. Well, you're kind of getting used to the Keys with your trip that you made earlier in the spring down to, was that Key West?
Yes, sir. We did a trip down to Key West back in May. I led a trip down there with 14 boats ranging from 30 foot all the way up to 53 feet. So we had great clients with us, a good range of different boat brands, and we had an excellent trip.
And Ryan, you went on this last trip, the Lobster trip, with Captain Griffin. Prior to that, we had done an offshore fishing event and had a fun time out going after red snapper and whatnot. How is this trip? Is this the first time you've been to the Keys?
So it's not my first time ever going to the Keys. It's my first time going with MarineMax to the Keys. It's really eye-opening. You know, I got to experience the Keys with the rest of the team and customers, clients. A really great time. You know, really privileged to be able to go, and ended up learning a lot from the trip.
So just to set the stage a little bit, you guys left our docks here, the fuel docks right out in front of us, and had how many boats that went from here down to it was a Ferro Blanco where you went to?
Yes, sir. We stayed at Ferro Blanco. We made the run with 4 other vessels. We made it down to Marco Island, stopped, topped off with fuel, and then made our journey from Marco down to Marathon in Ferro Blanco in particular. Yes, sir.
And you guys ran a Boston whaler. What size and model boat did y'all run?
Yeah, we had the privilege of taking a 360 Outrage, one of our brand new inventory boats with 400 V10s. And let me tell you, it's an impressive rig. Definitely a boat that I'd feel more than comfortable and confident in taking down and making that run to the Keys.
And Ryan, again, I know it's not the first time offshore for you, but was it kind of a different run, you know, making that long of a run or again, being offshore?
So running down from Fort Myers down to the Keys was my first time ever making that run from the West Coast down to the Middle Keys like that. I've been offshore a few times, you know, where you can't see land, but it was just very, very different, you know, to kind of pass through the Everglades and seeing the turtles and bait and everything. It was just, you know, a nice, relaxing trip. We lucked out with the weather.
Oh, yeah. We could have been blessed with better weather. I mean, we had seas that were less than a foot. I mean, for the most part, it was flat, calm. Definitely gave our clients a great experience making that run for the first time. Just help uplifting their confidence and being able to do so.
So, Ryan, paint that picture a little bit better, since that was really kind of your first shot, that for customers that have never seen that kind of water, you were talking about turtles and some of the other kinds of things. I mean, what all did you see?
Man, we saw the whole ocean out there. Frigate birds, green turtles. I think we saw a few leatherbacks out there, possibly. Bait everywhere. And, you know, as we're running towards the Keys, going through Florida Bay, the water just turns crystal clear blue and, you know, 15-foot visibility straight down. You know, we're gunning it probably about, 30-something miles an hour?
With our weather, I mean, we were able to cruise about 33, 35 the whole way, so we made good timing on it.
So again, for our customers that may be thinking about coming to Southwest Florida or maybe about buying a boat or doing this kind of a trip, what's the skill level that somebody needs, Captain Griffin, to be able to, again, follow one of our boats in this particular case, but to, you know, make that run? I mean, could a average boater from Minnesota that's not really done much coastal boating enjoy that trip?
Absolutely. I mean, we had a lot of clients that made this run for the first time. Obviously, my previously trip back in May also had a lot of first-time clients making that run as well. With my position here as a delivery captain at MarineMax Fort Myers, I do initial delivery with the clients, trying to help, you know, build as much confidence in them as possible. But I also provide additional training services, just really trying to ensure that they have the confidence in being able to do so. We sell plenty of boats. that are 30 foot and greater and that are more than capable of doing so. But doing so for your first time can obviously be a little intimidating. So our goal here is just to provide as much confidence and uplift spirits as possible, just to get those clients down there so they can have these opportunities and be able to enjoy the keys like we have.
So, Ryan, you guys pull into Ferrablanca, pull into the marina, and again, Nikki, our events coordinator here, did all that work on the front end to make sure you had slips for the customers and a place for everybody to stay overnight, several nights and whatnot. But what did it look like getting your flotilla, if you will, into the marina and kind of secured?
Well, with Ferrablanca, we have a great relationship with them. They're always arms are wide open when we come in. They've got multiple dock hands standing there waiting on us. We call in, we communicate on the VHF, get slip assignments. And then again, with how many dock hands they have, they just really make it a breeze getting everybody in, feeling welcomed and secured.
So one of the things that I love is on a trip like that, and people that have never seen that kind of water, never been in that kind of experience, when they get tied up to the dock, what's the first comments you heard?
Wow, the water's so clear. Heard that very, very evident in the rest of the group.
Definitely said it was a common theme behind that. I think everybody was just amazed by coming in. I mean, you're out for a couple hours not seeing any land, and all of a sudden you just start seeing little islands pop up around, and then it's just a magical experience being able to pull into the Keys and be able to see that clear water, see the big lighthouse that Ferrablanca is famous for, and then just with the staff. I mean, it's an incredible experience.
Mm-hmm.
So the boats are in, tied up. Everybody's kind of washing boats down, getting them ready to go and get checked into where they're staying. What did that first night look like?
Yeah.
It was pretty quiet. The rest, the group, including Captain Griffin and I, were pretty wiped. It was a long trip down and smooth sailing, luckily for us. But just a lot of boat time and a lot of sunshine and fresh air, and it just kind of takes a lot out of you. So after we got the boats all tied up, everybody went, checked in the room. Griffin and I found a few drinks at the local bar here and kind of hung out. And a few of the group just came out and hung out with us and sat down, just kind of talked about boating stories and kind of what we're going to expect from the trip, game plan is, and just kind of, just what do we want to do? What do we want to accomplish?
So again, kind of painting that experience level of what that's, looks like for a family. Was it just couples, husbands and wives and that? Was there any kids with anybody, or kind of what did the group look like?
Yeah, this trip, we didn't have any kids with us. It was mostly adults, probably ranging from the age of 40 to 60. So, we had a little bit of everybody on the trip, and I think everybody felt comfortable getting down there. I think everybody was more than capable of doing so, despite their age. But yeah, as Ryan was saying, when we got there, we had a great dinner. Everybody came and we all got to sit together and talk over a couple drinks and just have a great story of our trip down, what was anticipated on the trip, and just trying to meet everybody's expectations.
So this is one of those cases where boating changes lives. So all of a sudden you've got people that are making new friends and talking about their boat or talking about their particular experience and really enjoying that ambience, I'm assuming.
Absolutely. We had people from all over the country, different boating experiences, maybe from the lake. If we had a particular group from the Lake of Ozarks that have been boating their entire lives, and then they do this trip to the Keys for the first time and absolutely amazed. So different skill sets, but then all kinds of different boating atmospheres that they've been in. But it's really cool to see a first-time trip with everybody, and I think it's a trip that would be very memorable.
So the next morning, did you get ready to go out after lobsters?
Yes, sir.
So what's required, or again, if people don't have gear, can they rent gear, or what does it look like for a boater that's never really done that before to be ready to go out and go with you?
Yeah, it's really inexpensive to get set up to go lobstering. Between a tickle stick, a net, gloves, scuba gear, or snorkeling gear, you don't even need scuba gear. You can be under $50 and you can go have a great time and catch a limit of lobsters in the Keys. You can keep 6 per day. It's just a great opportunity that's relatively inexpensive. And
yeah, I was about to say, even if you're not going after lobster specifically, just being down in the water and just looking under rocks and seeing the fish swim around. There's a whole aquarium of fish underneath there. So
well, and you mentioned the iconic lighthouse there at Ferrablanca. There's some other iconic things out in the water, and I know pictures of where you guys went and whatnot, but what was the scenery like getting everybody out there and getting ready to get in the water that first morning?
I mean, it is incredible. I mean, we had a beautiful sunrise come up. We got out early. We wanted an early start. We made a run about 35 miles south to our first lobster hole. I think everybody was highly anticipating all of this, as it's been a build up of, hey, we're going on the lobster trip. We're going to go get the lobster. So we were able to get anchored up, got everybody settled in, and then we hit the waters, and everybody was in. We were having a great time, as Ryan was saying. Just the beauty of watching the sunrise. We're running, watching the birds, running by 7 Mile Bridge, seeing Sombrero Reef on your port side. It's just a beautiful scene that I think will be very memorable for a lot of people.
So how was the lobstering?
It was a tough start. We had mini season the week before, and it seemed like everybody had a great mini season. Definitely seemed like the lobster were a little bit scarce. They were far and few in between. We had some numbers that were given to us, and unfortunately, I think somebody beat us to them from mini season. So we sat down. We planned out on a chart. We tried to find some spots, and from there, we were able to make it happen. Yeah.
So tell me about first time in the water, those first lobster that you see, the tickle stick, some of that kind of stuff. I mean, is it like, oh my gosh, wow, look at this, or I can't believe we're doing this?
Yeah, so like what Griffin was saying, it was a little bit of a grind at the beginning, and we tried a few spots when we first got there, and we jumped in. Every group from every boat jumped in, mask, snorkel, fins, and I mean, we gave it heck, trying to find some lobster, and we found it seems like everything except lobster.
We're finding starfish as big as our head. We're finding sea urchins, seeing all kinds of crabs. Exactly,
turtles.
Beautiful fish. We saw some sea turtles. Yeah, I think we saw everything but lobster on our first dive.
So yeah, finally we so actually on the way down to Faro Blanco, first time getting there, we're passing by some beautiful bottom. I mean, you can look down, you can see the rocks shoot by you.
Wow.
And everything. And we were kind of like, wow, this would be a great spot to find a lobster. It's like, you know what? Let's mark it. Just for giggles, mark it. We're blasting 35 miles an hour. We gave it a good few rounds. First few spots were a little bit of a miss, and it kind of spirits a little bit down. And a lot of these people have never dove for lobster before. And it was really cool because, we finally, kind of like, all right, let's get a game plan together. Let's look at a map and kind of Google Earth and, Navionics and everything and just trying to get a game plan. So finally, we ended up going to the spot that we marked on the way down. And we jumped in. It was about 15 to 18 foot deep. Yeah. Pretty ripping current through there. Clear water, really grassy. And we're swimming along. And I remember, I took a breath, went down, and there's very good visibility down there. But, if you're swimming right along the grass on the bottom, you can't really see what's in front of you. So you kind of have to stay up towards the surface. You got your snorkel going and kind of looking down. Well, finally, I saw big, kind of like a concrete little thing down there. It's like, oh, that's not supposed to be there. So I dove down, look under, and I see the, the tentacles and antenna and stuff. And I was like, whoa, here we go. So that's pretty cool. And seeing that first lobster it was a good sight, after striking out the first few trips, and, really made us happy to go find some.
So how many lobster the first day?
I think we got about 2.
Yeah.
It was a little tough out there. Yeah.
2 lobster that we found out of there, and everybody was beat trying to swim in the current.
So no dinner that night.
No dinner that night. But
what about fishing?
Yeah, we didn't fish that day. We saved the fishing for a couple days later. We went to a local tackle store. We got some chum blocks because the idea was originally we wanted to go out to the humps. We looked at the weather forecast. There's a couple thunderstorms that were billowing out. We were looking about 6-foot seas. Didn't necessarily want to take our clients and get beat up, scar them from that kind of weather. I don't think most of them have been in that kind of weather.
Not enjoyable in 6 foot.
It doesn't matter what boat you're on. 6 foot's never enjoyable. So we switched game plans. We went out to a local a reef and wreck that I have numbers on, and we chummed them up, and we managed to get some yellowtails, some rainbow runners, a little bit of everything. I mean, we were able to pull some off the reef, so that definitely made it a good time.
Yep, we were able to get some local knowledge from Billy, who's at the restaurant at Faro Blanco. So we talked to him, and real local guy, and grew up in the Keys, and he knew what he was doing. So he kind of gave us a few tips and pointers of some local knowledge, and kind of gave us a good recipe to follow. The following day, we woke up and got out there and followed the recipe, and ended up catching fish. So
yeah, it just adds to the Keys experience. Just being able to go sit down and get to know the locals, and then just being able to pick their brain apart. I think that's another huge aspect of having a Keys trip and just making a memorable experience, meeting people, the scenery, everything in between.
So did you find lobster?
We ended up finding lobster.
We found some.
Yeah,
we ended up getting them. So yeah, we ended up pulling. So we were primarily staying in the Gulf side in Florida Bay for the lobster, and like we mentioned earlier, we ended up finding a few, but kind of not really what we were looking for. So we decided to get on the maps and just kind of hunt around and see what our options are, and we ended up finding some good bottom, pretty much right on the other side of the island that we were staying at. But we ended up, took the group over there and we were swimming around, and we ended up finding them in 6 foot, 10 foot, 18 foot, and we put them in the boat. So it was a good trip. Good haul.
So then did you have a lobster dinner?
Then we had a lobster dinner. Back to Ferro Blanco, we had lobster for everybody that was prepared at the restaurant at the marina. You just take the lobsters live right to them, and they do everything the rest for you. I mean, they did a fantastic job preparing those meals for us.
Yeah, they killed it.
So that was a high five moment.
That was a peak moment for me.
That was a win in our books for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, that's a cool thing. Well, Ryan, again, kind of putting your sales hat on for a moment and thinking about clients and the group that was there with you, and again, a couple of other trips that we've done and some of those kind of things. How important do you think it is that we offer a trip like the lobster trip, or going to Gasparilla, or wherever that might be, for the customers to really have these experiences?
Yeah, it's a great question. And in my opinion, it's tremendously important. We had a group that was on a 350 Outrage. So it was one of the older models, nice boat, but we were down on the 36 Outrage, the nice new model, and kind of piqued their attention a little bit. And, just kind of, we pulled the boat side by side and, got to see what the differences were and kind of what, not essentially he's missing, but what he could be getting if you were to, ever trade his boat in. So it was really good, and it was just a really great experience for everyone to be out there and just use the boats and just kind of just get a sense of kind of just what they could be getting,
So again, Griffin, we talked about the deliveries that you do with people to help them not only understand the boat, but like electronics and some of the features that are on the boat so they're comfortable using them. And then Ryan talking about, as a company, MarineMax, we're very interested in helping people to learn how to use their boats and whatnot. And especially with what we're trying to do here with, let's go boating and whatnot, it's a lifestyle and something you can really, really enjoy. So what would you tell somebody that's thinking, maybe we ought to buy a boat. Maybe we ought to buy a place there in Southwest Florida, or a place that we can go from Lake of the Ozarks, or, from Minnesota or Texas or whatnot, and do this kind of trip. What would you tell somebody?
I'd say do it. I mean, I'm a little biased. I'm a boater. I grew up in a boating family, both sides. I've been boating since before I could drive. And I used to take my little 13-foot Boston whaler to my buddy's house. My parents didn't want to drive me, to cross the river. So that's pretty cool. But, yeah, I mean, we live in Florida. We have 24/7 boating, summer, 325, 365 days a year. And it's just, there's endless amounts of opportunity here. So if someone was looking to get in boating in this area, I would stand behind them and say, you don't know what you're missing until you're out there.
Yeah, I mean, and just to add on to that, I think the opportunities here in Southwest Florida they're endless. I mean, being here, you can make a run up to Cabbage Key. You can make a run down to Naples. You can venture up down to Marco. You can go to Tampa. You can make a trip down to the Keys easily. I mean, this year alone, I've done a couple of Keys trips. I've made a Bahamas trips and was there for 2 weeks. I've done East Coast trips. I think living in Southwest Florida gives you tremendous opportunities to boat, and I think it's a very neat area to do so.
Captain Griffin, what feedback or what comments did somebody make to you there in Ferro Blanca after being out lobstering, or being on their own boat, or their friends or family members that were with them or whatnot? What were some memorable things they fed back to you?
Just as a trip of a lifetime, and then how they were greatly appreciated that they are coming into MarineMax culture, where they have the opportunities to be able to do stuff like this. I mean, again, most of our clients that we take on these trips have never made a run like that before, and probably wouldn't if it wasn't for the opportunity of going with a captain, a mechanic, or just the rest of our team, and then having other clients that are in the same position as them. So it just helps build that confidence and make them feel comfortable in order to be able to get to these destination spots.
So after catching lobster, lobster dinner. Everybody kind of had fun and camaraderie and whatnot. Any other real fun or significant things on the trip, Ryan, that were memorable for you?
Yeah. If I had to say one thing, it'd probably be the community, the boating community. And we had 3 groups of great people, from all different backgrounds, all different places, all different styles of boating that they grew up doing and or are currently doing now. And it was really cool just to see just kind of everyone get along, over boating, being able to talk about having something common to talk about. And there's just endless amounts of, hey, what do you do when you go out? What does your perfect day look like? Or, hey, what restaurants do you like to go to in this area? And just kind of like, just seeing everyone just kind of bond over a common interest was really, really cool to see.
So, Captain Griffin, the equipment, you run these boats, you get down there and, guys wash their boats and kind of clean them. And that's part of the fun of, being able to take care of your boat and that kind of thing. Pretty dependable, reliable, no problems that you had to fix somebody's boat before you could go back out or any of that kind of thing.
No, I mean, we really were blessed by all of our boats in being great shape mechanically. We had a little bit of a hiccup when we went to take off just with low batteries. We're able to overcome that when we were made sure that our clients were able to go on the trip. But that's the support you get when you come on these getaway trips is I've got multiple spare parts with me. I've got tools. I mean, we're there to support you and make sure that you are safe, not only getting down there, but also return safely coming home as well.
And I think that's a real important point too, that we were talking about the Boston whaler that you guys ran, which most people, when they think of a whaler, a 13 like you had as a young man, that, those are seaworthy boats. But the boat you were talking about that we had to help, get the batteries charged real quick, that was a 31-foot Sea Ray that, when you think about it, is not a fishing boat, not a lobster boat or whatnot, but I'm sure they had as much fun as everybody else.
I remember saying to the owner of the Sea Ray himself, and that night, the last night, we had great conversation and just him being super thrilled to be there and the lifelong memory that he'll cherish and remember forever. And he's actually been on a couple getaways with me, and I think he's going to continue to go on getaways with me.
So again, you don't have to have a center console boat or a big, heavy, if you will, fishing boat in order to enjoy these kind of trips.
No, absolutely not. I mean, we back in the Key West trip back in May. I mean, again, I had anything from a 36 Aquila, a 435 Galleon, a 53 Asmund. I had some whalers. So our variety of boats are more than capable of getting down there, and being able to have the support while you're down there, I think is huge as well.
So, Ryan, your most memorable moment of the trip?
My most memorable moment of the trip was probably coming up with that first lobster. It was the first one. We were looking long and hard for it, and I was able to dive down, and it took me a few tries. I'm not gonna lie, it took me probably about, I'd say, 7 or 8 dives of going down hunting and trying to tickle this thing into the net and everything, and I couldn't get the perfect angle, and finally, I ended up just poking him right in the face, and he shot back in the net. I grabbed him and just beeline straight for the top. And I remember coming up and I'm trying to scream through my snorkel, and everyone's like, what? And I'm just like pointing to the lobster.
Victory.
Like, oh, he's got one. Yeah. So it was pretty cool. The boat came over, scooped him up, and, it was high fives all around. That was a good moment of the trip for me.
Well, that's cool. That's cool. So, Captain Griffin, best lobster dish you had while you were in Ferrablanca?
I'd say it was the night where we had a successful day. We brought back plenty of lobster for everybody. Everybody just was all big smiles around the dinner table as they brought them out from the restaurant. As everything was prepared, they prepared the lobster. Everybody got 2 sides of their choice with it. We were just out having a great time. I mean, we went from diving that same day, grabbing them, and then eating them that same evening. I mean, it doesn't really get any fresher than that.
Doesn't get much fresher. That's what we're talking about. We put the lobsters in the bin and we walk it up to the bartender, and he was the one that took it to the thing. Well, we saw him live, get walked in the door, and
15 minutes before they're sitting in front of us.
There they are. So
that's cool.
It doesn't get much fresher than that.
So. No, that's really cool. So with that, what's kind of just, if you were going to go like an Instagram moment, what's one word that would describe for you guys as a captain, as a mate, as a helper, as a guy that sells boats and whatnot? What's a quick description or one word that would just say how you felt or how the experience was?
Yeah, I got a good one for you. I'd say lifestyle, just boating lifestyle. Just the fact that, even sometimes we didn't have an objective in mind or a plan, but we were just on the boats, and that's what we came to do. And if you're a boater, you enjoy being on your boat, whether it's rain, sunshine, you obviously want to be out there on a good day, but if you're on a boat, you're having a good day.
I think I remember us talking about that when we were snapper fishing.
Mm-hmm. Yes, sir.
Yep,
I'm just happy to be there.
Exactly.
If I'm on a boat, I'm on the water, and that's what I was born to do.
All right. Captain Griffin.
I'd say the culture behind it, kind of piggybacking off of Ryan a little bit, but the culture just of seeing a community of boaters come together, get to share all of the same experiences, new experiences, just talking about what they love to do and why this attracted their interest into it, from having different boats, from different lifestyles. I mean, a gentleman that has a Sea Ray might do different things in a whaler, but when it all comes together and just sitting down at a dinner table and being able to share those memorable experiences from childhood all the way to present day, I think it's a really cool experience, and it's really cool to see how the culture all falls together.
I agree.
So just a couple of questions as we wrap things up. Did you have a Yeti cooler?
Oh, we had a couple of Yeti coolers on the boat.
We had one Yeti cup go missing.
We did have a Yeti
really?
cup go, yeah.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it's a long story. But...
Oh, really? Well, I guess we don't have time for that today. We'll have to save that for another day. So what did you have in the Yeti coolers? What was your beverage of choice?
We had plenty of waters, as the Keys, August in the Keys is hot. It's brutally hot. We had a lot of waters, Gatorades. We had some fruit, fish, and lobsters. I mean, we were rocking and rolling.
A few energy drinks in there, and to keep us going.
Coors Light is not an energy drink.
We have Bud Light in this one now.
Oh,
I'm just joking.
All right. All right. So one last question. You talked about the clarity of the water and whatnot. What color is the water?
So if you're on the Gulf side, it's like an emerald green. And if you're on the Atlantic side, it's just crystal clear blue.
Griffin, do you agree with him?
I would. I was going to go with maybe a little more turquoise and then go over to the Atlantic. It is just that deep navy blue that is just absolutely beautiful. That's my favorite place to be on the water. Just being able to look down, and if you're reeling up a fish, here he comes 70 feet down below, and being able to watch him come and see the color of him, you already can identify the fish 70 feet down. So I think it's a really cool thing.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, guys, you have definitely helped to define where we talk about boating changes lives, and again, the culture and some of these other key words and whatnot. And I would just ask you, let's really encourage people that if they want to know more or they want to see more about how to participate in Gulf Coast boating or Southwest Florida boating that we have here in Fort Myers, or trips like this, please get in touch with us.
Absolutely.
And, Ryan, again, in the sales area, we've got lots of, things that we can help tell the story. And even if somebody's not ready to buy a boat, we want to help them in that process.
Yes, sir.
And Griffin, again, when they make the decision as to which boat, we're not only going to help them to be comfortable in docking and running the boat, but also understanding the electronics, the safety, and all the other things that go along with the experience.
Yeah, they get full support, just from here at the dockside to going out, and whether it's going to lunch, seeing what that looks like, going anchoring up at a sandbar, even joining and participating on our Key West trips or Bahamas trips, just giving them that opportunity and really boosting their confidence is what I strive to do with our clients.
And for what it's worth, we have tremendous boating here coming up in the fall and the winter months when it gets a little bit cold and there's white stuff on the ground. And a lot of areas, they take a perfectly good lake and freeze them.
Terrible.
So we would invite people to come see us, correct?
Yes, sir. I would agree.
We'll be out boating, that's for sure.
Yes, sir.
All right.
Come see you soon.
All right. Well, good. Well, Franklin Pillsbury here at our MarineMax location in Fort Myers with Let's Go Boating TV. And we appreciate you spending time with us and listening to the guys here talking about this great trip that they had down to Ferrablanca and our annual lobster trip. So if you're interested in that trip for next year, we'll be putting information out, and please check us online and see what we have as far as boats, or better than that, call Ryan on the phone and tell him that you want more information on a great Boston whaler, Sea Ray or Galleon or Azimut or whatever it might be. And we'll look forward to getting you out on the water.
Yes, sir.
Thank you for having us.
Franklin, thanks for having us.
You bet.